welcome to the Southern Stew. My name's
Podcast.
Tiffany.
I'm Gina.
Melissa.
Cynthia.
Today we are going to be talking about stories from when we were young.
More of them,
Yeah, more of them.
because we know you're not tired of those.
So, buckle up, Buttercup.
Oh, all right. So to get us kind of the segue into this, so I got a letter from my son's school, and he is in 7th grade, and the letter that they sent home, I was not ready for. Okay, because when I was in school, we didn't get sex ed until we were like what, 9th grade, something like that. And so I get a letter from his school asking for permission or to opt him out of sex ed. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They're teaching 7th graders now? Oh my God. And I was torn. I was like, do I or do I not? And apparently I was doing some research about it because I'm a nerd. And yeah, that's like the average age now. Can you believe that crap? This
Yep.
start in
You're
middle
so
school now.
behind, first of all.
They,
So
they have
behind.
they have the introductory period to sex
Yeah.
education in
So-
7th, and it gets more elaborate in 8th.
So they
Well-
talk about what they're talking about now is that they talk about basically boy parts and girl parts and what parts do the things they do.
And they already know.
I mean, for the most part, but I mean, how many 11, 12-year-olds are going to know what fallopian tubes do and, you know, the female period and
The
what that all
anatomy.
about.
The anatomy.
Yeah, Cyrus's school, the way they did it is that they took and separated the boys and the girls into groups,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what
they
did it.
learned about their own sex.
Yeah,
So
that's what they did.
it's
But they actually learned about the opposite sex too. But it was
they did
all
this year in
anatomy.
8th grade.
It was all anatomy.
So, being that said,
So that
our
being
cousin
said,
was very educated.
at
Very
what
educated.
age do you guys remember your first encounter with the show yours or show your mind or any of that stuff?
Well, it wasn't really that. I remember a certain cousin under a tree that was older than me started talking about boys. And I was like, ew, that's just nasty. No, I'm not doing that. No. And then I was thinking, then it's embedded in your brain at that point. So when you look at the opposite sex, even at that age, you're like, do they do that? Yeah, I bet they do that. You know, just stuff like that. And then you're like, I can't tell mom. I can't tell dad. That's disgusting. Or I'll get killed. I'm not talking about that, you know, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So you guys would have to be really creative on the actions of what you guys are actually talking about, so that people actually know what the heck you're talking about. But anyway,
Well, I mean, I think it was at that
Throwing
point. It was
mayonnaise?
talking about. This was just as innocent. Well, not innocent, but it was like French kissing.
oh,
Yeah, like you put your tongue in their mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that, and then
I think I was in 5th grade when one of my friends were talking about that kissing a boy, and he stuck his tongue in my mouth. I'm like, what? You know, that's nasty. What?
yeah.
Oh, no way. It
So-
was gross.
So when this cousin realizes I had no clue what the heck they were talking about, that's when they proceed, oh, what else you don't know? And start telling you the full birds and bees. And you're just
Oh,
like,
dang.
deer in headlights. No. Mm-mm. Because I don't know if you remember, but Mom used to say, you came from the cabbage patch out in the garden.
Yep.
I didn't
So-
learn that.
Well,
you had me.
I
as
got
because-
sex education from you all.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you had us for older sisters, so that's why.
We was already educated at that point, so we just passed it on down. So
Or hearing mom yell at you guys over us doing some stupid shit, and then I'm in the car in the back, and I'm like...
Well, see, that was the thing, is that I never thought that we came from the Cabbage Patch, because I remembered mom being pregnant with Cynthia, and mom would let me lay on her belly and feel Cynthia smack me in the face. It was the first time, she got to hit me. But then she went to the hospital, and Cynthia came back with her, so... And she told me, she's like, I gotta go to the hospital, you gotta stay with your grandma, you gotta stay with Mama, because it's almost time for your baby sister to come here. They're gonna take your baby sister out of my belly. And I'm like, I thought you took a pill or something and she just grew in there. That's what I thought.
And you thought, you're gonna poop her out?
Yeah! I was like, I will poop out a baby. That's gonna hurt. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital for that. So, yeah, I never believed the whole Cabbage Patch thing, but I did and I knew that they came from the mommy's belly. I just didn't know how they got there and where they come out from.
Yeah, a lot's changed.
So, yeah, and see, the thing of it is kids has easier access to all the knowledge, meaning cell phones and computers. It's just a touch of a button for them. So anything they want to know, they just look it up. Whereas we are, did you know?
Yeah.
That was our, we didn't have that luxury. So, which is
passed down,
which
from
was a
mouth
good
to mouth.
thing. It was a good thing then. It's a bad thing now.
It definitely stayed innocent more, longer. Now, it's definitely, a challenge being a mom nowadays and having to monitor internet, what they're doing, what they're saying, where they listen to, what they're viewing. And I know there's a lot of kids that, that my son goes to school with or whatever. And he's told me some stories about, one kid got caught doing this and whatever. But it's usually because they all use like Chromebooks these days at school. Yes. Like they don't carry books anymore. Wouldn't that have been nice, guys? Oh my God, can you imagine?
Our backs wouldn't hurt.
I know.
Yeah, but it sucks for us parents though, because if the screen breaks, if the battery goes out, if they lose the stylus, we all have to pay. The parent has to pay for it. And which, it sounds like what you need to do, but you would think that once you turn it in at the end of the year, the kid would get a different Chromebook. No. No.
They keep
my kids had
the same one.
My kids had that Chromebook since he was in elementary school. And I'm like, this is crazy. And I guess he's going to hold on to that Chromebook even through high school.
And see how it would still work, because even laptops don't last long.
Well, I'll tell you, those Chromebooks are tough as shit. I have to give them...
No, I'm not meaning that. I'm just meaning the hardware.
They become outdated.
Software.
Well, most of it's online. Like, it's not like hardware as we would think of it, like an operating system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of it's online. So they have to go through a firewall. They have to sign in.
But say if your kid loses the stylus or, God forbid, the charging cable, then the parent has to pay for it. So it is what it is. Yeah. But I kind of wish they didn't go into the Chromebook area. I think they should have had books and paper like we did, because my kid tells me, I'm in the middle, I finish all my work and I'm over here on this other site that the school doesn't know to block yet, and I'm playing video games.
Hey, today is National
Dog Day.
Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Like, it's specifically Black Dog Day?
Yes. Today.
Hold on, what's White Dog Day?
Hi, Kodak.
Kodak, you're kind of gray. I don't know if you count.
Yeah.
Remember when he was a puppy and he was completely black?
Yeah. He's blended like the family.
He's getting older.
Yeah.
Getting some gray hairs.
But anyway, back to the subject.
So back to sex as kids or whatever. When I was a kid, I was a tomboy. I played with boys. They were my best friends, and every day that's who I would hang out with all summer long. The boys. My dad couldn't stand that shit. He was just like, you guys need to start acting like a girl. But anyway, so when we had this amazing
Treehouse.
Treehouse. The treehouse was the bomb. And so one day I go to the treehouse to meet up with my buds, and I get up there, and I could hear them. Well, I got 2 steps close to them. I could hear them scrambling because they didn't know who was coming. They could just hear footsteps. But I hear them scrambling, and I'm like, "What the heck's going on? They got something we're not supposed to have." So I get up there, and they're all looking at me like, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh God, it's just you, Gina." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, what do you got? And so they unzip the beanbag because we had one of those shitty, Kentucky Wildcats beanbags in there, with the little pellet fluffs, and so they unzip it, and I remember, Paisley, if you're out there, I'm sorry I told on you, but he stuffs his hand in there and he pulls out a big old stack of Noonie Mags, and he's like, "Check it out, Gina," and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And so, and I ain't never seen, besides like my sisters, I ain't never seen down there on an older person. And so it's mostly girls, tatas and wawas. And I was like, ugh, that's what we look like down there? Ugh! It's nasty. But they were like, oh. And they're looking at it. And they threw one at me like I would be totally into it too. And I was like, ugh, no, man. So it was at that moment that I realized we were starting to get older, and they were starting to realize that I'm a girl too. Because they all just they were looking at me like, oogling it, "Oh, look at this one, oh, look at this one." Like they were like freaking trading Pokemon. And they all almost simultaneously look over at me, and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "Gina's got boobies." And I'm like, "Yeah, and you need to back off." You ain't seeing my boobies.
So we had other cousins that had stashes. Mm-hmm. And when I ran across them, I was like, "That's disgusting, and they shouldn't be looking at that. So we're going to fix this problem."
Yep.
So we trashed them. And when they found out...
Yep. I think we burned them, didn't we?
Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. And they were livid. Like, they wanted to
You know how expensive those magazines are?
Hey, that wasn't our problem. They wasn't supposed to be looking at that stuff.
No, that stuff is gross.
Yes.
We burned them.
And it's wrong. So we was like, no. And we burnt them, and we had to run for our life. We was not allowed around the clubhouse anymore.
Yep.
So, many times.
I never told them. I think they were my best friends, so I wasn't going to tell them. I thought it was like gross,
Oh, we told.
I wasn't going to tell my best friends. But that doesn't mean they didn't get caught, because one day they did, and oh Lord, my aunt beat the snot out of those boys all the way back home. Oh my! Their butts all the way down back. From where were we? I can't even remember. But
it had to be just across the creek. It had to be just across the creek, but felt like it was a long way away.
I know I wasn't with them at the time. I heard them screaming.
Listen, I don't know if you remember, Gina, but that has to be the same clubhouse that I scared the crap out of you.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Lisa.
It was just across the creek on the hill.
It was in between.
It was between.
It was like
houses.
right on the edge of the mountain. Yeah. And then right across, right in front of it was our like a community garden that we all planted in. And then there was the creek, and then there was our house. And so, like, if you were in our front yard, you could look across the creek, across the garden, and you could look right at that playhouse.
Yep.
And, so, yeah.
Listen, that time I scared you guys, oh my gosh. What I would give
never
for a cell
heard the
phone
end of that shit, Melissa.
To record that, I could have made millions. I would have went viral for that.
If only phones were...
Well, tell the story, Melissa. Tell the story.
So you all had to been, I don't know.
We were 11,
10, somewhere in there.
We were 11.
So I thought, they's like, "Oh, we're going to camp out all night in the clubhouse." And Mom's like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" She's like, "Yeah." And again, she was the only little female over there, and it was all the other male cousins.
They were my brothers to me. They were
my brothers. But which was technically only 3 of them.
Yeah. Well,
it was 3.
There was 3 of us, or there was 4
there
of
was
us.
3 male. Yes.
Three boys, one girl. Actually, no, there was 4 boys, 1 girl, because Paisley was one of them too.
Okay. So anyway, they're over there, and I thought it was pretty dark. And
It was very dark, Melissa. It was.
So I thought,
it was like freaking 8:00 at night dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got bored, of course, because we didn't have things to do back then. So I thought, I am going to scare the crap out of them. So I ease over the creek, take my time.
Hold up.
A long way around.
I just want to say this. I had no idea that Melissa was home. Okay? For the most part, Melissa was always out. She was always out with her friends because she was much, much older at this point. And so she was always out with her friends. She was always out doing other things. She didn't really live at home at this time. So I was not expecting Melissa, of all freaking people, to be sneaking up. I wasn't expecting anybody because all my sisters, except for my little sister, this turd was, not there because everybody was all
allowed.
older. Yeah, she wasn't allowed because she was too young, and so we were staying there.
There was no way I could have took anybody with me because I know they'd be too loud. They don't know how to do it like I do it.
And this is in the middle of the summer, and so there was in that communal garden area right in front of the playhouse was nothing but corn, just high corn. And so anyway, go ahead. Sorry, just wanted to
So no flashlight. It's just me. I go dead night, take off, and I take the long way
Black
around.
Ops.
Yeah. Oh, I was stealth mode, and I went all the way around, took the long way so they would not hear me coming. So I get dead up under because their treehouse it was high off the ground.
Yeah, it was pretty high up. It was about 7 foot, 8 foot up.
Every crack of wood, every rustle of leaves, I'd hear one of them go, "Did you hear that?" "No, that's just a squirrel. That's nothing." And I'd wait a minute and I'd keep going. So I get up, and y'all had little bitty flashlights, and you had BB guns. I remember.
Yep.
And
we were all very armed. Thank you very much.
They thought they
guns.
were armed. But it was funny because I get up underneath them, and I can hear every word they're saying. So I had a pocket full of rocks. So what I did was I started taking and throwing rocks far off, away
into
from
the
it.
woods, in the mountain
woods.
area.
Yeah. And they say, "Oh, I heard that. That is not a squirrel. That is not a squirrel. That's too big. Did you not hear that?" And I would purposely hit a tree trunk and hit thunk off of it. And they'd be like, "Yeah." So one of them would have the flashlight, the other one had the gun. "I know you're out there." And they had no clue what it was.
It was okay. So the 2 younger boys was hiding in the back, and because me and Dave were the older 2,
Cut that out.
because me and my other older cousin were the oldest 2, we had to protect the 2 younger ones. And so he had the gun, I had the flashlight, and we had that one doorway, and we were both. I'm out here, I'm behind him, and I'm flashing it. He's screaming, "Who's out there? I got a gun!"
Yeah. So I continued to throw rocks, I totally ignored that I hear them. And I think I worked my way up to the actual treehouse. So I had a huge stick. So we haul off, and I hit that door that they were hanging out of. Scared the living.
We were terrified.
dog.
We thought,
Yeah.
because there was so many stories and stuff about the
And I
mountains.
heard one of them crying.
Yeah.
They were crying. They didn't.
Did
Cause
you
they,
really?
Yes, because they thought
Yes.
they were trapped in there.
The youngest one that was in there with us, he was bawling.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
He was bawling. And I'll give
And
you one
then-
guess. You guys know who it would be.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He
yeah.
was bawling. And we were trying to, the older ones, me and the older one,
Yeah.
was trying to calm him down. We're like, "It's going to be okay. It's going to
And
be
I'd
okay."
make weird noises like,
Yeah.
And then finally I just lost it. I started laughing so hard.
As
And
soon as
Gina-
she started laughing, I was like, "You bitch." I was so embarrassed. Because it was my sister. Well, of course, one of my asshole sisters that was scaring the shit. That poor little fucker was bawling his eyes out. Thought we were all going to die because obviously, you know.
They're trapped in this treehouse, and
We're
it's
trapped
coming
in
to
this
get
treehouse. It's just below our treehouse. It's going to get us, whatever the hell it is.
Because we can't jump down, it's going to get us.
Yeah, well, we were like 8 feet in the air, you know.
That's
so the only way
funny.
down was like from like 8 feet down.
That's
And
funny.
you asshole! I was so mad. I was so mad. Like, damn it, Melissa! Oh my god! She was laughing. I got you guys so good. I got you guys so good. Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm dying. Like, give me that gun.
No, the question is, did you guys stay the night there?
Yeah.
So you just finished the night
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, we finished the night out. After that, they gave me such a hard time. It's like, your sister's stupid. Your sister's a dummy. And I'm like, oh no, she's so mean. I think actually the youngest one did end up going home. I think eventually he just was too spooked, too scared, and wouldn't hang. So he ended up going home, and it was just me, the other two brothers that ended up, and yeah, Paisley. We ended up staying the night. But it was good times, good times. I think that summer we ended up spending the night in that clubhouse, I think 3 or 4 times. And of all things that we ended up playing a lot of when we were up there was Risk, of all things, because it's like the only board game we had. We were like, yeah, you guys want to play another game of Risk? No, not really. Honestly, at first we thought Melissa was the youngest one's older sister. Because she was the only other one that we could think of that was around my age that liked to play pranks. But we thought, well, maybe it's her. But it shouldn't be her. And the reason why it shouldn't be her is because we had hurt her very, very recently with traps that we had dug all the way around this playhouse that we had to fill in because we got in trouble. Because, you know, we watched way too much Bugs Bunny. And so we had pitfalls. We had swinging traps and everything. We had cans that were like alarm cans. And if you tripped over them, they would alarm and let us know. We had that thing trapped to the wild freaking zoo. And
Didn't
then,
you guys have a can that you would talk through? Like a can talkie? I remember you guys having
we had
of
one at
those.
the top and then one at the bottom. Yeah. But we had tripwire cans. We dug a pit with spikes in the bottom of it. We had a swinging log trap that was up on ropes. And so if you hit the tripwire, it would come out of the trees and hit you. I mean, we were like, you know, Kevin McAllistering that shit up, man. We were all over it.
Listen, that's like a cartoon episode of Craig's Creek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did. We trapped the crap out of it. And she came out there with her friend that had spent the night with her to come and scare us the first night that we were spending the night there. And she...
And it's all because of me.
No, we trapped it before you came. And
No, I'm talking about the first time I scared you all was the reason why y'all got into booby traps.
give me that damn gun. I'm going to shoot her. But, yeah. And so she ended up falling in one of the pit traps and, like, hurting her leg. And we got in so much trouble. And so they whooped us, and they made us go out there and fill in the pit trap and take all the other traps down. We're like, we're just trying to keep intruders out, you know? We're just being smart.
Yeah. When you're
Stephanie,
raised,
did you ever do anything crazy as a kid?
You need to count.
when you're raised in the mountains like that in those years, back in those years, and there's no cell phones, we weren't allowed to stay in the house. We stayed outside and played till dark. So we entertained ourselves.
Yeah, you gotta get creative.
Yeah, there was too much that you could do.
Oh, yeah.
Cynthia, you missed most of it. You missed quite a
We
bit.
didn't
of it.
believe in sitting in the house. We didn't believe in staring at a TV. We had
I
an
don't know.
Atari.
Cynthia followed me. She was my shadow, bro. That girl
And I'm saying,
Hop out of the gardens like a fucking daisy. We'd be like
calm down.
We'd be like 2 miles up a mountain, and I'd be like convinced that she was back at home.
and she's trying to lose her.
Yes. And then we would hear rustling behind us, and we'd think it could be a black bear or something like that. She'd pop up, hey guys. I'm like, I'm from.
Can't get rid of me.
I was following you. Yeah, she followed us all the way up the mountain. And I'm like, God.
You just wanted to play too, Gina.
Oh, yeah.
Big meanie. So mean.
She was 5 years younger than me.
So mean.
How many times when you were 10 did you take a 5-year-old around with you in the mountains? All right, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
you guys never took me.
Stephanie did get stuck in the cooler a few times, going down the creek.
Speaking of floods, when that creek would flood, buddy, it would get up there.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was always around this time of year-ish when it would come a-raining and that creek would flood, that Melissa and Debbie would get it up their ass to see what else floats. What else could we try and see would be a proper boat?
We want to see how far we can go.
But Lord knows, none of those two ever freaking tried it. No, let's get this.
That would be dumb. That would be dumb.
Yeah, we talked about that our first episode. If you haven't seen that, you should go watch the very first episode. You can hear all about that story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Near-death experiences.
Yep.
Dumb
We were
ways
the
to
guinea
die.
pigs. I'll tell you what.
You guys remember the the pond that was down next to the little country store that was maybe, what, a quarter of a mile from the house, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Yeah.
That we rode our bicycles to. Mm-hmm. And we would buy a quarter pop for a quarter.
It was the old
Penny
Fisher
candy.
store.
We would buy penny candy and quarter pops and, yeah. And we had the old trusty moped that was passed down between every one of us. Remember that? Old trusty moped.
You
It was an
remember that.
old.
Stephanie
moped.
remembers it really well.
Tell a
Yes,
story,
I do.
Melissa or Stephanie, about the moped.
Actually, before she tells it, I was actually at home doing dishes. I was standing at the kitchen sink, looking out the window, doing dishes, and then somebody comes running in to tell the story. Go ahead, Steph.
I can't remember that, Melissa, because I remember you being there.
Oh, because I had to go get you. I was not there. That
It
was
the
Debbie.
concussion, Stephanie.
Yeah, that was Debbie. I was
Maybe
not
it was. I mean, I don't know. But we were down
Wait a minute.
on-
Who was with you? So I know it was 2 of you, right? That was on it.
a lot of our cousins were there. We were
playing
swinging
at the
on
creek at the little water hole.
Yeah, we were swinging on the rope, and it's literally right next to the main road, y'all. It's a curvy country road. It doesn't have any yellow lines or white lines to separate the 2 lanes. This is an old country windy road that is
It's a holler.
Which technically
Yeah.
barely 2 cars pass each other. I mean,
right. And this pond, I call it a pond, but it really ain't a pond. It's
No.
just a wide spot in the creek. I mean, and the
It was
water.
like an overflow.
Yeah, the water pulled up there, and people would fish out of there, and we would swim on the hot summer days in there. We would jump in and get wet, and there's a couple of trees, and it had a rope tied in it, and we would swing out and get in the water. But there was a lot of people there that day. A lot of the cousins, a lot of the holler kids, whatever you want to call them. We all collected there, and we were just playing, having a good time. And our cousins,
Well,
I
I
think,
think you were like back home with me and Cynthia. I think.
You and I'm thinking Debbie had left to go to the water hole on the moped.
yes, me and Debbie rode the moped to the said pond.
The water
And
hole.
The watering
we
hole.
were there swimming around, having a good time, and our cousin that lives close to us came out of the little country store, and she was carrying a bag, and I guess her mom had sent her to pick up some things or whatever, and she hollered over and asked if one of us would give her a ride home. And of course I got nominated because, when everybody's having fun, they make me do it. Like Debbie would like, you're doing it, so.
Don't lie, you loved riding that damn moped.
I did, but I didn't like toting people on it. That's not something I like to do, especially when you had to Fred Flintstone it to get it going. Push. You know what I'm saying? You put your feet on it and you have to push.
And mind you, it was at the bottom of a hill, so you had to go up the hill to get it going. To ride it down to get it going.
Yeah. So when I of course got nominated to do this, I go over and I pick the thing up and I'm like, fine, and I was mad because I was being made to do it, and I pull it out of the grassy area, the path that went by the said pond, and got it on the side of the road, and I remember sitting on it, and I remember taking my feet and, doing the whole push, and I had the throttle all the way back, and it sounded like a pissed off wasp or something. I don't know, weed eater or something. The motor was revving up really high.
It was revved up really high, but just not going nowhere.
Just not going nowhere. That thing we had beat it to death. But anyway, next thing I know, I'm waking up. Out, and that was weird. So, but anyway, I wake up and
that was the sound of the angel of the birds.
That's what she heard.
Oh man, that was creepy. But anyway,
sorry, I was putting my notifications.
That was perfect.
That was perfect. But I wake up and I'm looking at sky, and I hear people all around me, and it's like my body was numb, but all of a sudden I had like, what is going on? Trying to figure out what just happened. And I remember sitting up, and when I sat up, I hear a bunch of gasps from people to my right. And I turn and I look, and all of my cousins and the neighbor kids are lined the side of the road, and one of them being my sister, Debbie. And I turn and I look, and she's looking at me with this stare, and her face is solid white, and all of a sudden I hear to my left this lady go, "Is she dead?" And I'm like, what? And I turned around and I looked behind me, and my poor little old uncle, God love his heart, he had hit me with his car. And evidently they said I rolled up the hood, and I rolled back down, and then I rolled in the road, and I stopped. And when I turned and I looked, he was pulling the moped out of the ditch. And
dang, he hit you hard.
He did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know how back in those days, our younger uncles, they used to fly down them roads, man.
Oh, yeah. People, God, they would drive way too fast
still
on that road.
Yeah, they still do.
They still do. So, but yeah, I turned and I was like, and then when I started connecting the dots, I got up, I was getting myself up off of the road. And our uncle come over and grabbed me, and he's like, "Are you okay, girl?" And I was like, "Yeah, what happened?" What happened? And he's like,
I can't remember which one, but somebody had took off on their bicycle to come and tell us.
Now, hold on. I said, yeah, I think I'm okay. And he is just shaking all over. I mean, he was shaking all over. And now that I think about it, when it passed, I feel so bad for him, because I know he was
terrified.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm lucky he didn't have a heart attack right then and there, because, it was bad. But anyway.
Well, he was like, what, in his 20s at the time?
Yeah. I'd say he was. I'd say about 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I walk up to Debbie. Now this is the funny part. I walk up to her and I was like, "Hold me, Debbie," because I didn't know what was going on. I said, "Hold me, Debbie." She said, "Get off me." And she said, "Get off me." And I mean, it was
That
like,
totally sounds just like Debbie.
"Get off me." And I was like,
Get off.
"What?" Like it, and I think one of the cousins jumped on the bike. I thought for the longest time, Melissa, that it was you that jumped on the bike and went home and got Mom and Dad.
No, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correct, because I was in the house and with Melissa.
Somebody runs in and says, "Stevie got hit by the car."
Pretty sure
Stevie got hit by a car.
I want to say
It was one of them.
It was one of the older ones, like around Debbie and Melissa's age.
I don't know. I remember
We had a lot of cousins, y'all. We have a lot of cousins.
A lot. Anyway, I remember
they all lived up in the holler.
The moped, and we pushed it home.
I thought you were dead when you came in there and was telling Melissa. Melissa was freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, I was like,
"You stay right here."
I remember, like when it hit me. I just remember what. That's the truth. I remember just seeing.
That's because you got knocked out.
White.
I knocked them out.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
all I'm
technically, you probably did have a concussion. I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
That's what's
It's
wrong with me.
guaranteed that you'd had a concussion, honey.
Did you go to the hospital or anything after that? What the heck?
No.
Because she was walking around fine. She didn't complain. No headache. No nothing.
That's crazy because to think about it, like I could have been bleeding internally. I could have never known what I'm saying.
Well, Mom said, don't let her go to sleep. You know, we paid attention to make sure you weren't going to throw up, because if you're nauseous or and you pass out, go to sleep. Those are not, you know, you don't want that's the things you don't do. Concussion wise.
Because at the time, Mom was working at the hospital, wasn't she?
Yeah,
probably.
I thought she was like not a candy striper. What are they called?
She was an aide.
Yeah, an aide at the hospital.
But I remember when it happened, it was in the middle part of the day, probably around 1-2 o'clock in the day. Honestly, I do not remember what I did for the rest of that day.
You stayed on the couch. Mom made you.
I sort of say I couldn't tell you what happened after that. All I know is I remember pushing the moped home with Debbie.
I remember getting Mom asked me to go in. She took ice from the freezer.
Because you had road rash. You had road rash.
Yeah, you had road rash, and she got me some ice. She told me to take it out of the house. She put a bunch of ice in a pillowcase, and she said go out there and smack this ice around and bust it up. And so that was one of the things I did, and so I came back in. And that was my sissy thing to do for you, was to make sure that your ice pack was always nice and cool.
Was I even born yet?
Yeah, you were little though. You were like 3.
You were real little.
Yeah. That was the reason why Melissa couldn't
I don't
leave.
know.
That was the reason why Melissa didn't take off. To go.
So fun fact though, the uncle that hit me was legally blind.
Yep.
And was not supposed to be driving. So there's a fun fact.
And I think he would have been fine if he hadn't been driving too fast.
Yeah. He was in that corner right there with that water hole.
It's a blind spot.
Yeah, it is a blind spot. It is. Yeah. It drops down. It curves, drops down. And there it is.
It's a really
after I realized you were fine, my next instinct was, well, is the moped tore up?
Yeah.
Because that was our means of transportation when we didn't want to ride our bike.
Gina, do you remember when we got the new moped?
Yep. Oh, I had the sweetest moped. It was like brand new, 1992 or something like that. It was
blue.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It was really pretty. And we were, Gina got grounded, and Dad was like, you guys are not allowed to go out. So Gina was like,
I was constantly grounded.
so she's like, oh yeah. So they were gone to work or something. And Gina was like, all right, Cynthia, go climb into that crack and open the garage door.
I would boost Cynthia up, and where the garage door would like go like this to the tracks, she would squeeze between the doorway.
I was that skinny.
Yeah, she was so skinny and little. And then she would squeeze up and over, and then just like lower herself down and then fall down. And then
you remember how I was a monkey? I was a monkey. I would climb everything.
Yeah.
And so I would just like, and I would just get in there, open the garage door. We would get that. And she had to watch me. So she towed me to her friend's house.
Yeah,
on the moped.
I took Cynthia with me everywhere.
So I was sitting there getting to hang out with her teenage friends. And I'm like,
now we know what's wrong with her. Now we know what's wrong with her. It's Gina's fault. They blame me. No.
So Gina, when she moved out, I inherited the moped. And I was so excited about it. So I decided I was going to drive that thing and at the time I was too small for it still. So
hold on, before you tell that story, me and David took that moped. We took me and my friend, my older cousin. We took the moped, and we took the motor part, or like the cover of the motor off. And I don't know what he did exactly, but he said he removed the governor. So the thing flew. It flat ass flew. It would go, I think it topped out at 55 miles an hour. For a scooter, that thing flew, man. But anyway, go ahead, Cynthia.
So Gina's no longer living there, and I decide I'm going to drive the thing. And I'm like, I don't know, I was maybe 12 years old. So I'm on it. I'm driving down the road, and I'm like, I'm going to see if I can do a like some kind of trick on it, because I wanted to see if I could do it. So I let go.
Sorry for all the marijuana contact you ever had.
So I let go of the handlebars, and I'm going handless, right? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I wonder if I can grab it like this, like a dummy. And so I grabbed it like this, and I went boop, right into the ditch. It didn't hurt the moped. Didn't. It hurt my pride because our cousins saw it.
I swear to you, they probably saw it, and they probably thought, "Yep, that's it."
They were playing football in the field, and they saw me do it. And
So you were showing off in front of them. That's what it was.
I was like, "Check me out." Boop. Anyway, so then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not hurt. All right, so I'm like, shrug off my pride, and I'm like, I'm going up Mama's, right? I'm getting away from being yelled at and made fun of, so I was like, I'm going to go to Mama's. So I didn't realize how hard it is to drive a moped on gravel.
Uh-huh.
Plus, I can't reach the ground. Okay? So,
and you probably didn't weigh but 98 pounds.
Yeah, she was so skinny.
so tiny. You ever heard the saying, big red truck?
Yeah.
I hit a big red truck.
Yep.
I hit Mama's red truck.
Yeah.
Mama saw it. She was on the porch. I couldn't stop myself. I was trying to stop. I couldn't. So I ran, bam, right into that stupid truck. And I skint up. I had the scar on my arm for like the longest time from that. And I was like, I'm not riding this daggone thing home. I'm not doing it. I was so mad. And I'm like, if my cousins see me come home and I've got this huge bandage on my arm, they're going to make fun of me even worse. So Mama was like, Symphony, you're all right. The truck's all right. The moped's all right. And she's sitting there telling me that as she's picking out freaking gravel from my arm.
She's She's like,
So-
Lord, you ain't your sister.
No.
Stop trying to act like your sister.
Oh man. But that was the last dumb thing I did on it. But like I would ride the moped when and then and Dad's motorcycle, his dirt bike, that was fun. And then
I popped a wheelie on it one time with Debbie on the back of it, and she fell off holding on to me.
I remember that.
I was riding a wheelie like this down the road, and she's hanging
Listen,
out.
one thing I learned was you don't get on anything with two wheels with Melissa Ann. Unless you had a death wish, okay? No. Thank you. The truth.
Yeah, I was a little bit of a daredevil.
Did we ever tell the story about the water hose and the bikes?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought we did, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's
the cousins, they all come over on their dirt bikes. And I remember this too. Behind our house, y'all, was this creek. And Daddy had two cross ties across the creek. And that's what you walked on to get across.
That was our bridge.
That was our bridge. So our cousins decided one day that they were
I know
going to
what
do
you're gonna say.
wheelies across the cross ties. Do you remember this, Melissa?
I remember this.
I'm not
And-
sure.
One of the older cousins was like, oh yeah, well I can do that. Talking about doing a wheelie all the way across, and he gets halfway and goes off of it, lands in the creek, and hits the handlebars and he busts his nose wide open.
No, what it was is that the cross ties were real close together. And he didn't go completely off like one side or the other. He gets it caught in the middle of the cross ties and flips over and goes over the handlebars and like hits his handlebars and then hits the cross ties and gets in the creek and all the
Them
rocks
falls
is
in
in
the
that.
creek. It
I
was like,
remember
doo, doo,
it.
doo.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just hit everything on the way down.
It's like the time when Melissa was learning to drive, and Mommy put Melissa in the car, and we had this little bitty station wagon.
Nope.
Oh,
It
that was
wasn't even a
Debbie.
station wagon.
What was
It wasn't a station wagon. It was like a gremlin. It was a really small car.
Wait. Was that
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
Melissa? I thought this was Debbie that this
No.
happened to.
No, it's Melissa.
I was driving. Yeah, and Debbie was in the back seat.
And
Back
Debbie
seat
was like,
driving, screaming and hollering the whole
Yeah.
time. Oh my God, we got it back. And then we pulled back into the
Driveway.
Now, mind you, I was only maybe 14, if that. And she's like, hit the brakes. And she's in my ear. She's not sitting back. She's like right up by me. And
No one wore seatbelts in those days.
Yeah, no. And then I don't know, she had my nerves shot. And I hit the gas instead of the brake. And next thing I know, the car is teeter-tottering on the cross ties.
yeah.
I remember this. I remember this so clearly. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
even Mom was like, "Shut up, Debbie, shut up."
How did you get the car off the cross ties?
They had to pull it. They
They had
had
to
to hook
pull
it
it.
up to Dad's truck and from the back of the back bumper and
While somebody stood in the creek holding the
And
front
push
to
it.
keep it from going either side. They had one person on each side.
because mind you, it was a little car, so
It was a
wasn't
very, it's like a
heavy,
gremlin or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. Yeah. It was
I'd love
fun.
to have that car. I would love to
if
have
I'm
it.
not-
It's like, speaking of cars, let's just take a moment and discuss Melissa's first vehicle, shall we?
The
Melissa.
silver bullet. She was precious.
Yes.
Okay, my dad gave $100 for it. It was a 1973 Cadillac DeVille. I called it Cancer, but it had rust all the way around.
Texas is what you should have named it.
But listen, this car was top notch for its day
Oh yeah.
because it had the leather top. The interior was all leather, but it was baby blue.
Baby
It
blue.
had an 8-track player. It had a CB in it. It had electric seats.
Which was the shit back then.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you said it was silver?
Yeah.
No. Wait.
It was baby blue.
No. it was two-toned. So the top of it was leather. It was baby blue. The inside was baby blue. And I'm talking baby blue. Like almost pastel. And then the whole car was rusted over. So I had the bright idea. I was like, I'm not driving that with rust all over it. I'm going to make it pretty. So I sanded it down enough to get the roughness off of it. And I took,
Spray paint.
about about 5 cans of silver spray paint and painted the whole car silver. So that's how she got her name Silver Bullet. Because when she rode, she floated.
Oh, listen, it had the bench seats. And me, Melissa, Debbie, and Tina, we all could ride in that front seat.
Okay,
We all get in that front seat.
I remember they took me cruising with them one time because they couldn't leave me behind, and they were everyone in the front seat, and I was the person.
There she is.
I had the entire back seat to myself.
Look at that beast. Look
Ooh,
at
hi,
that
Patty.
And that's not her, but that's exact the kind of car it was, and it was silver, and the driver's side headlight was smashed because it was all metal. That's before fiberglass, so it was smashed. There was no, so she had one eye, and
She was a pediddle.
yeah. Listen, I talked to truck drivers. I had a whole case of 8-tracks.
It came with a little brown suitcase full of 8-tracks in the trunk.
Yes. Actually, Dad got that at an auction for me as a joke. Yes, yeah. So I'll never forget.
I was the one that told Dad to get it. I was like, get that from Melissa.
So I'll never forget. I was at a red light, and Debbie was riding with me, and we were in Lexington, big city. And I'm sitting at a red light, and this car pulls up beside of me, and it's a BMW, and these 2 good-looking guys are beside of us, and they look over at us for a split second. You know, they're not going to pay no mind to us. And I noticed Debbie kind of slouching down in her seat. I'm like, are you embarrassed of my car? She's like, oh, my God, Lisa, shut up. So she had no control over the window, so I rolled the windows down, and I started revving up the motor, and when you rev it up, the whole front end would lift.
The car would...
Yeah. So I did it on purpose to get their attention. So when I got their attention, they looked over, and I winked at them, and I reached down and got an 8-track, and I blew in it, and I looked at him again. And I looked at him again, and I pushed it in there, and it was Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I turned it on, and she died. She's like, oh my gosh. About that time, the light turns red, and I pull it off, and the whole front end just like this.
It would fly, bro. And Melissa had lead feet, bro. She was just boom. I only rode in that car maybe twice.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I only rode it like twice.
It was the best.
Melissa, how long did you have that car?
I didn't have it too long because I started having a lot of issues. The transmission was messing up in it, and something to do with the brakes. I had a bunch of. I was like, for $100, I had it long enough that I got my $100 worth out of it for sure.
Okay,
But,
I was just curious because I couldn't remember when you got rid of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
My first car was a Celebrity. I love that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine was a Beretta.
A Beretta?
Mm-hmm.
What year?
Oh God.
I like how you don't look up the Celebrity because she knows what the Celebrity looks like.
No, I'm doing Stephanie's first, and then we'll go to yours.
I cannot remember the years and yet. It has been so long.
Just put in Beretta.
I had to be in
like
like
a 90.
89.
Somewhere in there.
89,
99 with a Beretta.
Huh?
That Beretta
Had a
was
hole
in a
in the
99,
muffler?
honey.
No, it wasn't.
It was not a 99. It was
Probably
a,
like a 93.
I want to say 93, 94.
Maybe.
Was
I
your
don't
baby's
even know.
babies?
I don't think it was even that new because your kids were babies.
Mm-hmm.
So 90. I'm gonna say 90.
90 at the most.
Because you had it before 99.
Listen,
Oh, okay.
Listen, I had that thing in the 2000s. Are you kidding me?
I remember. I drove it.
My children drove that car when they got older, when they were with their papa, and their papa would have a little too much a sippity sip, and he'd make them drive them in the fields and stuff. They beat that car all to pieces. And then, but I remember when it first started getting bad. Gina, I want to say it was you, you, and somebody with red hair took it to town one night, and we were going cruising.
Yep.
Yep.
That's it. Oh my God, it looks just like it.
It looks just like it. Except
it looks just like it.
Yes.
Exactly.
She said blue.
Hold up. Wait. I got to finish the story to tell. Look at this car. Now imagine I'm in the back seat. Stephanie's in the passenger side. Her ex is driving. We're going to Tennessee. I get gas so bad. And
it was
just little at a time. It's dead winter. Dear God, what is that smell? I'm denying it all the way.
Now, this was for over an hour of driving, and I want to say every 20 minutes this was happening.
It was so bad.
It was bad. It was the kind that it would burn your nose hairs.
Well, see, that was the funny part, is when Melissa first told this story. I remember because I was laughing, I had tears in my eyes. Because she'd say every time she let one out, she knew it was going to be bad the first time because it was hot coming out.
Oh no! Oh no! Melissa has the worst gas ever. It's bad.
And he said, "What is that?" I said, "I don't know."
I would have to roll the window down here. Oh my God, we'd have been gagging and everything. I was like, oh. I said, Melissa, and she was, I swear it's not me. And then she'd be back there laughing. We make it all the way down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Oh, shit.
We on the bumper to bumper, and then all of a sudden there it hits again, and there ain't no air flowing that time. And then that's when she cut it loose and actually started dying, laughing like she is right now. And they were like, I knew it was you. What the heck? What did you eat?
She told this story, I swear I couldn't breathe. Because she was like, I knew it was going to be bad because it was hot coming out.
This is Stephanie's ex. What made it even better because he was sick and he would window down and stick his head out.
Hey, guy. What the hell is that? Yeah, and he'd stick his head out the window while he was driving. And I mean, your nose hairs would burn, your eyes would water. I mean, it was bad, y'all. It was really bad.
I remember her ex describing it. He said it smelled like, it smelled like 20-day-old roadkill mixed with rotten eggs. Yeah.
No. You know how have you ever, I know people's run across a skunk that had been hit by a car.
That's what he said. He said it smelled like 20-day roadkill mixed with raw
but this
eggs,
was like, the skunk
eggs
that wants to stay in your nose once it's in your car. It's like that. Yes.
Like it's caught up in you and die, girl.
Oh man, it's bad.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, me and Gina and a friend decided to take that car to town. And this car had been around for years and years and years, and it had been through it. Like I said, been took through the fields, just craziness. But anyway, we took
been
it
shit
down.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally.
And we were cruising around, and you give it gas, that car would backfire. Remember that, Gina?
Yeah.
It would go, pow, real loud. And this was when Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, had just came out.
Yeah.
And we had watched the movie, and there's a part in there where the guy goes, "Bumblebee tuna." Remember that?
Yeah, Bumblebee tuna. Your balls are showing.
Yeah. There was these boys sitting beside the road, and they were like, "I dare you pull up next to them and say Bumblebee Tuna." Well, I had to do it.
I was not a shy person. I've never been a shy person, so.
Me neither. So,
Well, at least not since I was like really little. But
so it was me, Gina, and a friend, and the friend was in the front too. And so we were all kind of cramped up in there. But anyway, we were driving around, and I pulled up next to the boys, and I rolled the window down because they had been hollering. You know how boys do. Hey,
Yeah.
Yay, you know. So we ignored them all night, and then that's why they dared me to do that to them. So I rolled the window down, and I pulled up, and I was like, "Hey, Bumblebee Tuna." And that guy said, "What, honey?" And walked over toward the car, and I said, "Bumblebee Tuna, your balls are showing." Like that.
and then we just took off.
And he was like, "Huh?" And then I floor it, and when I did, the car started backfiring.
She floors it, and we get maybe 3 or 4 inches, and it goes pow pow. Standing there looking shocked.
They're like,
That's
"Did
what
that
you call
just
shell.
happen?"
That's definitely shell shocked.
Y'all, if you know where A&P parking lot is,
Yeah, that's where it was.
if you're standing at A&P and you're down at, you remember the hot dog stand, I can't remember the name, at
Tommy's.
A&W.
You can hear that car backfiring from that far away.
Quarter mile.
They probably like, what just happened?
Yeah, I know, they were like, "Hey, listen, they quit hollering after that. They left us alone."
All right, Gina, what was the name of your car?
It was a celebrity. Remember the make or whatever? Yeah, the make. What is celebrity? Chevrolet?
Yeah, Chevy.
Yeah, Chevy.
What year was it?
It was probably
1995?
No, it was a 1987, I think.
Oh. It was blue, too.
It was baby blue.
I remember that.
Fit 10 people and a chihuahua in that car.
I'm trying to find a good
Exactly.
picture of it.
I thought your first one, yeah, because you have Mom's, the celebrity.
No, I bought that celebrity.
Oh, okay.
I worked for 2 summers straight on the farm to earn money to buy
10
it.
cents for each tree.
10 cents for each tree.
Exactly, Melissa.
Turned out to be 5 cents, though.
No, he lied. He only gave, this is my stepdaddy, he told me 10 cents a tree. And I pulled probably a 10-foot high stack of these little pine trees. I had blisters and everything, ripped all the skin off my hands. I was getting that damn 10 cents a damn tree. And when he got home from the VA, he looked at that pile and he looked at me. And I said, "All right, you need to pay me up." So I can't remember, but he handed me like $100. And I was like, "That's more than $100. And he said, "Well, that's 5 cents a tree right there." And I'm like, "Bitch, you did not. You said 10 cents a tree." He's like, "No, I said 5. I know I said 5.
There she is.
There she. Oh
My God.
mine was in better shape than that one. Good Lord.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, you could fit 10 people in a chihuahua in that car.
Gina, is that the one you hit the telephone pole with?
No, that
No.
was me.
Oh, that was Cynthia.
That was
That was
me.
Cynthia. That was no. I never hit no pole.
Gina actually hit the guardrail.
I hit a guardrail. I hydroplanes, okay, and hit a guardrail. But I smacked the back end of it on the guardrail
Yeah.
because we were going around this curve, and this cold truck was coming the other way, and it was on our side. So, and it was raining cats and dogs. And so I
Back curve.
jerked it over real quick to swerve out his way because he was on our side of the road. And when I did, I went into the ditch just a little bit. That, just like the 2 side wheels went into the ditch. But that was enough that when I jerked it back over into the road, that it just lost control. I was only 16 at the time, 16, 17, something like that. So I didn't have enough experience at that point to pull it out of that death row, you know. So it ended up in the ditch, and I hit the car.
I remember you driving that car for years.
For years, I drove that thing to Chicago, to Pennsylvania, not Georgia, down to Missouri, Tennessee. It went to Michigan, all the way up to almost to the UP.
Huh?
What was Dad's old truck?
It was a 77
Toyota.
Ford.
Oh.
70 Ford pickup.
That was Ford
77 Ford. I remember because it's the year.
I thought he got a Toyota eventually, the black one.
It was
The black and white one was a Ford.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, so yeah, that was we used to call it the Blue Bird. So.
The Shasta. All right.
I remember first time I pulled up to the Corbin Library driving that sucker. And everybody, because I had to announce to everybody that I finally got my first car. And I was able to come to play D&D by myself. And it was like a big deal because, I've been playing since I was 13 there. And so I pulled up in that thing. And everybody had to come out and look at my new car. And that's what they saw. And I was like, check it out. So I opened the door and they all was looking in and stuff. And where the radio and stuff is, there was nothing there. Because we had pulled all that out, me and my friends. We had pulled it out, gutted that whole front area, and put in the smallest little cassette player. But I couldn't afford all the spacers. So it would just sit there and it would, we'd have
it
all
would
that.
move around.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have paper stuffed around it.
Yeah, well, I used that as my storage. I would put stuff back in there, back in the guts of the car.
So this was Dad's old pickup.
Yep.
Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one that me and Melissa wrecked in.
So this truck had it had a lot of play in the steering wheel. It was really hard to drive. And the driver's side window, you could lock the doors all you want. All you had to do is place your hands on the window and go like this and roll the window down.
Come on
from
now.
the outside.
He had that car. He had that truck for years.
Mm-hmm.
Years.
So we was coming down the interstate, 25.
Mm-hmm.
We were coming out of 25, or down 1304?
No.
Whatever the hell that road is. Were we?
Yes.
I know it's just me and
we was
Melissa.
coming down. No,
I was in
Cynthia
there.
was in there.
You might
Oh,
want
were
to
you?
cut that. You
Yeah.
might want to cut that out.
That's okay.
What?
Corbin.
forgot.
Cut that out.
Oh, so we was coming down this main road, coming down the hill, and it just had rained really, really bad. And Dad's truck didn't have seat belts. So semi truck passes me,
Poor little eyes.
flying, and the wind off the truck catches the back end of Dad's truck and just picks it up.
Yep.
And we did a 360 2 or 3 times, landed in the medium, whatever,
in
In the
the grass
median.
part.
Yeah,
In between
yeah.
the two.
facing
lanes.
the way we were going.
Yeah. We did a full 360. I don't know.
Cynthia
3 times.
is in the floorboard. It throws her in the floorboard.
Yeah.
No,
I was in
Melissa,
the
you
middle.
pushed my ass into the floorboard.
No, honey,
Yes,
I
you
didn't.
No,
did.
I
You was
did.
trying to.
I
One
did.
of you did.
I put my arm out. I did a mom check. I tried to catch
She
you,
put
but I
her
couldn't
arm
catch
around me.
you.
I'm the one that pushed your ass in the floorboard.
Probably. I arm checked somebody. All I know is I'm trying to hold on to that steering wheel where it has play and trying to keep it in road, and I couldn't, and it just threw us right.
Do you
Yeah.
remember all the rust spots and all the grass that was in those rust spots? Because when we pulled into the driveway at home, we were like, Dad's going to kill us, but at least the truck's not dead.
So
We're
what I
not
remember
dead.
is
The truck
that
didn't get hit. We were blessed, is what we were.
yeah, we were really blessed. That grass that was in there, it was just thrown up by the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
But we had tore up so much of the grass in that median that it just
'Cause
went everywhere.
I drove right out of it.
But in that old truck, it had that metal ashtray in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were going around, and we did that almost sudden stop right there in the median because we grabbed hold of the grass or whatever. My leg hit the side of that
Ashtray.
ashtray, and it dug right in, buddy. I had a big old gash on the side of my leg. So, I think it was lethal. That was the only person that got hurt. I was the only person that got hurt in that. And it was from the dang ashtray.
Gina put me in the most deadliest spot in the place. It put me in the floorboard.
Actually,
I don't think I meant...
I think it actually more so saved you because you could have hit your head on the window, the actual door window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have
Because
slammed
I
your head
honestly
up
don't
against-
remember doing it. I just remember, like... I think I meant to, like, hold you, but I ended up just shoving you down with, you know, the centrifugal force.
All I remember, it was someone grabbing me and pushing me into the floorboard.
It's
I'm like,
me.
what's
It
going
was a roller coaster ride.
on? All right.
So
So, my first car was a 1997 Toyota Tercel. And I made Dad paint it because I didn't like the color of it. And I
Oh
had
my
to have
god. So spoiled. Dad, you got to paint this car. I like it. God. Melissa's over here. I got 6.
I paid for my paint. I did. I paid for the paint and I paid for the primer out of my own money. So,
Well, I paid for my car, bitch.
look how tiny this picture is. This is cracking me up. Look how
Can you
tiny.
blow that up?
Let me
I
see.
remember that car.
Keep going. Yep.
I
Can't
remember
get it
that
any
car.
bigger than that.
Brigger.
That's good.
Brr.
It kind of reminded me of the old Honda Civics in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tell you, so me and my ex-husband, when we were dating, we decided we were going to pimp my little car out. So we took the back seat out completely and put a subwoofer in there. And it would have this huge bass, and it would vibrate the windows in my little car. And I thought I was thugging it because I had this blue blurple. It was a blurple, okay? It was blue purple
It
paint.
was.
And it, and then I had this subwoofer in the back, so no one could sit in my back seat for the longest time. And I had just a normal, like, cassette tape radio, but I would have a Walkman. I would put the little tape in there, and I have a Walkman CD player that I could play my CDs in for the longest time in it.
Yeah, that was like plugged in separately into the cassette player. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I
And
remember that.
that's how I'd listen to my CDs, my burned CDs. And, but yeah,
No
that was my
tracks for
baby.
you.
But yeah, before it became blurple, I got to drive it to school, and it was the last 3 weeks before I graduated high school. And me and a few of my friends, my guy friends of all things, decided they was going to ride with me. And I was going to take them home and then drive myself home. Well, I hydroplaned and I hit a telephone pole, and I had my windows down because it was hot, and I just had my new glasses, and my glasses went out the window, and I never could find them.
That's sad.
Yeah, Dad was so mad. I had like
A car full of dudes.
well, what saved me is that Dad knew every one of these dudes because they went to church with me. So, and he knew them, you know,
Youth group guys.
youth group guys, but they were good kids.
Sure they were. We all know about them youth group guys.
Well, one of them was Gina. You would know him. You knew him.
I probably did.
Yeah, he was a sweet guy. Anyway, so it wasn't long after that happened. I had the burns from the air, like the
Airbag.
what do you call it? The airbag deployed. That I went to Gina's college for a prom because I had a prom date at her college. So that was my car. And then after that, I had the front fixed, and then it turned purple. Well, blurple. But that's my car.
Yay!
So yeah, we should probably call it. It is late.
Yeah. I gotta get off.
Thank you guys for watching with us and reminiscing with us today. Tell us about what kind of car you had. What was your first car? What was some funny stories about your first car? Leave us a comment down below. And we'll talk to you guys in another week or so. Bye!
Bye, guys.